Hello everyone, I'm Instructor Ford, this is Mr. Weaver, and we are going to demonstrate for you the kata.Tōgyū for my personal form. Now, don't get discouraged. It's a very complex bite that you're about to bite off. There will be applications I'm not going to fully explain at this point in time. We were just talking about it, and I think Will saw that, holy crap, there's actually quite a bit here. So for the sake of video, we will keep it short. I know that a lot of the people studying this in American Kick Punch are going to be at the Shodan or Nidon level, and this is after they've already learned to kind of read kata, but this form will teach them how to really read weight shifting, how to read pivoting, how to read intent on technique, and how to look at the punch as a grab or a push or a pull or any number of things. So the first thing, first of all, I'm thankful to my uke because he's about to get beat up and he's not feeling well. It's all right. Some parts I'm probably going to get beat up, and it's okay. We'll both creak and pop tomorrow. So, the first thing I'm going to do is bow. Ready position. So before the ready position, salutation. Alright, my first movement, I'm going to use a half of a crescent step. I don't think in the original video I said anything about crescent stepping, but for the first 3 steps, you're going to crescent step. So a crescent step is here. If you've done any kind of seison, you've done crescent stepping. So it's an homage to seison. So as we're here, I'm going to crescent step and get in this ready position. Now, something I was on the fence about sharing with you, and I'll go ahead and share it with you because it's important that you understand the intent that's done in these first 3 steps. In Japanese Jiu-Jitsu years ago, I studied something called the kumikatas, and they were a set of basics and basic grip fighting and how to pivot, where to pivot, how to leverage, and and basic throws. You would learn some basic throws from it. So these first 3 steps are essentially ways to get into those positions. So Mr. Weaver, let's just get into the initial step. Now you might have noticed that I dropped my knee down on the punch. So there are a few reasons for this. One, if he's kicking the groin as I'm punching as he's kicking the groin, that's cool, but if I'm grabbing as he's kicking the groin, and then I'm coming in and stepping, you notice a throw happened, and we didn't intend for a throw to be there on the demonstration, or I didn't, but he just kind of loses his balance. So I'm here. You notice how effortlessly that was. When I raised my hip up, he went down. So there's a throw. There are a series of setups for throws in the first 3 movements that you need to discover on your own, but you need to understand the movement. So what is another thing this knee does is it gives me a springboard. It gives me a starting point. It gives me several things. But when I'm grappling, it gives me that step through. I'm shifting weight, or it gives me that position to get into to do a hip toss. So you're looking at basic grappling, basic throwing. So I'm here. The next movement I come to is here. I'm also dropping weight into the hip. Next movement is here. So now Mr. Weaver has grabbed my throat, or he's grabbed my gi, and I'm gouging his ribs and that's to get the attention off the grab. I'm executing a double chop block. I can double slap block this, but I'm doing a double chop block, and then I'm using that blocking position. Let's move a hand out of the way. So I'll come here, boom, and I'm throwing a tiger strike, and it's a gouge of these top two knuckles. I'm throwing that back into the ribs. And then I'm hitting on both sides. Now, I'm going to slide weight into this and hit on both sides. So I'm going to be shifting weight. There are several throws that can happen here. I could drop in, I could body clinch, do a body fold takedown. Whatever I want here, I'm in a position to do it. Now, it also allows you for, if this didn't work, for coming up in under his armpit. And again, I can step and get a throw here. So there's a lot going on here. First of all, you're climbing into my mind. You're seeing kind of the way my mind works, and that's fine. I know in Ishinru, when you get to Sun Tzu, you start seeing the complexity of Shimabuku Sensei's mind. I know that a good bit of you will never study Ishinru, but it's a good example. In this form, you're getting into kind of how my mind works. So you're getting into my psychology and technique, how I think of things. I'm looking at how do I throw this individual when I'm sparring. I look at how do I take them down. Same thing in altercations I've been in, either at the sheriff's department or in my misspent youth. I look at how I take this person down quick and use the earth as my weapon, and then walk away. It's easier to explain why I threw him and locked him than it is why I fed him his teeth, or gouged his eyes, or any number of things, why I popped him in the ear and took away his equilibrium, knock him back to the second grade. So the next one is he's grabbing again. So the first one did not work. So this one is a fail-safe and much more complicated setup. So I'm coming in for the ribs on this side with what I call a beak strike. Comes from White Crane Kung Fu. Boom. I come into those floating ribs. I guess wind went under the house. Okay, so before the fall, the camera fell. Before the fall happened, so we get into this position and I'm doing beak strikes. I'm leaning into them also. So you could say there's a hep up there. I'm hitting and then I'm rolling. So you're getting into sticky hand, and then I'm clearing. So I'm forcing down. I'm not swinging. I'm rolling over and driving down from here. There's a distinct difference if he's grabbing and roll down versus coming here after hitting and shooting down. So yeah, my next move, I'm coming here, coming from the waist. Again, my head is right here. I can headbutt. And I'm coming from the waist. I'm hitting with the chopping section of my hand and hitting the diaphragm. But wait, that's not all. From here, I'm leaving an arm up. So I'm clenching. I'm grabbing. I'm hitting and gouging. And you can tell by the way he's flailing, the hit like that is going to take his legs out from under him. So the movement is I'm hitting. And so the movement is that knee. And I'm shifting all my weight into this attack. Now, if you're not super strong, you can use this as a setup for a knee and a forearm strike. So don't be afraid to do that. That is me. Yeah, he's been trying to identify the different forms of Kung Fu used in this, where it comes from. So the next movement, I'm here. The next movement, I've got someone coming from this angle. So as Mr. Weaver comes in, I'm boom. Now, if I take a step from this position, I can step through and just keep walking and do a good little throw. You just keep walking through. That is fine. So once I hit, I reap, and then I step through and I throw. And then the technique repeats itself. But once I hit here, I came in on this side and I hit. Now this time I'm moving into it. And so I could hook the leg and take him down. Set up for a really nice knee bar because of where his foot is. But that is another application here. So let's stand this way. We'll do it this way so you can see it from the side. The first application versus the second application. They're both going after this right hand. So if that clarifies anything, really it doesn't matter which hand I've kicked. Boom, I'm in the throat and I've reaped. Now I'm just taking a step through and I have a lock. The next one, I'm just going to go after that hand. Just for demonstration purposes, I've thrown my technique and thrown a kick to soften them up. And I've got his knee. There are a lot of things that can happen here. A lot of very nasty things. Notice I'm cupping his knee and I picked his ankle, and I could decide to roll and go for a knee bar. I could decide to do several things, none of which I'm going to do right now because we're on clover. That's not nice. So that would be this direction. So we're here. Yeah, there's this side. Next movement is right here. So Mr. Weaver is in front of me, and this one we see pop up in forums all the time. What are they doing here? It's very simple. I'm about to show you. So this is a very particular kind of reap. So as he punches, I reap. Now on this side, as he punches, I lock. And from this lock, if I decide to kick his leg and bring him down, I can. But we're going on the inside. Feel free to use this on both sides. So on this side, I'm going to kick his standing leg. And then I might, once he's down, slide into the armpit and start working my lock magic from there. Very important that straightening up, using your body to straighten up their arm so you can continue locking. So now we're here. This ready position, every step is a throw in this form. Well, it's like, yes it is. It most certainly is. Or it sets up for a throw. So the next movement, he is throwing a punch to that arm. I'm again with this reap, because it's a good reap. I'm hitting his shoulder, which could be an arm bar, and stepping in. But for here, I'm hitting with a forearm strike, and I can take that leg. So next movement, you're on this side, and we'll do the same arm. Oh, this arm, wasn't it?
Yep.
So I'm here. And I slid on clover, but that's okay. And I'm hitting. So before I slid on clover, I'm coming in, I'm rolling here. I can decide to step in on this side and throw. You can ask Mr. Weaver, the leverage points here are very finite.
Yeah, the light's already.
Like the balance is already broken on a lot of, by the time you close in your clinch, the balance is already broken.
Just takes a little shift.
This takes a little shift of the hip and they're over, and you're going to see those nuances. The tiniest weight shift is what does the hardest throws. And he is giving resistance, but we're at a point in that break of balance where he doesn't have that option. So this movement I'm here. The next movement, I'm going to shrink my silhouette. So as he's throwing a kick, and the kick will be off that leg. This is the easiest one to explain because we go the other way and I get into a whole realm of very complicated technique. So he throws a kick off this leg. I'm L-hooking as I shrink my silhouette. I'm elbowing. So I'm to this point, I elbow, I let go, I grab, and then I roll over and get my lock. So we're not on enough padding for me to do this hard on Mr. Weaver, but we'll do the setup for the throw again. So I'm going inside the leg, and I can come here and flip, but I'm not. I'm grabbing his arm and his head and moving in. So where all are you locked out at, Will?
They're in there.
I've got a knee in his ribs, I've got a knee across his elbow, and I've got a hand leveraging the lock. Here we go. We're almost done. The clover is slippery, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all right though.
Clover's one wielding.
So we're here. Now he's going to throw a punch. We're going to use elbow block, back fist, and we're going to grab. Cross stomp kick, set. We can even throw this into the top of the foot and set. Boom. We set down. We're protecting our knee, and then we're going to throw a push heel kick and straighten them out. All right, so from this point, we've thrown our push heel kick. He's going to come from this angle, and what's going to happen at this angle after I hit here, he's throwing a punch. I'm wrapping, I'm grabbing whatever's out, I'm kneeing, sorry, I grab whatever's out, palm strike, knee, punch, and you can mill into several different things. He comes, say he's here, as he comes to this point, this stack of punches, punch me in the sternum, my arm provides protection. Now I can collapse into technique from here. Okay, and here. So I come to this point. And now for the fun part. So you might be wondering why the sharp turn in direction. Let's move off the slip clover. Why the sharp movement change in direction? So he gets me to bear hug over my arm. So I move him. I throw him off balance. From here, I could choose to hang on to his hand, grab the back of his head, and bow. Or on the next one, I can choose to step through and bow. So I'm getting grabbed again. You grab me again. I'm sliding back. And so I step through and bow. Now with kata, we usually say the really nasty stuff for last. So on this one, we're close quarters, and he goes to raise a knee. I move down, I scrape his leg, or I push his leg down. So as he's coming up, I punch or I push his leg down, I throw that in, I can hook here, and he's dead weight today.
Yeah.
So, boom. My next movement after blocking that is, say his arm is up, is to guide it down, shift my weight in, and break. Now, if he's throwing a punch, I use that movement. Say it's from that arm, I use that movement to break the nose. So from this arm again, breaking the nose, and then finally he gets a full Nelson. And I break the full Nelson. Now, on this break of the full Nelson, let's go from the side so they can see what's happening here. This break of the full Nelson, I'm sinking my weight and I'm stretching my head back, straightening out my spine. From here, I can move into several locks. As a finger lock. But then we bow. We bow. Thank you for being my uke. Now first we give our salutation and then we bow. So that is my bunkai oyo for this form. Essentially it. There's a little more advanced technique in there. There are a lot of points. Their balance is just broken automatically. You can ask Will.
Especially if you're top heavy like me.
You can't stay standing on a good chunk of this, and that's fine. But this gives you a place to start. Also, the way the weight shifts, depending on how you shift your weight, is going to impact the way you do throws and the way you apply technique. So, I'm Instructor Ford. This is Mr. Weaver, and this is essentially the bunkai for the form. Still haven't named it.